Welcome back to NewsWire. Top story of the day in sports is an unexpected one. Team USA goes down. And what does the future of men's soccer look like as far as the leadership position? Who better to speak to than Kyle Bonn joins us, courtesy of Sporting News. And, Kyle, I think it is only natural in sports when things don't go your way, sometimes to not blame the players and blame the coaches. And I don't know, you know a lot more than me about this, and I don't know if that's necessarily fair here. But it certainly is what everybody is talking about today, that the leadership of Team USA, the men, they need a change. Do you think that that is accurate?
I do. I wrote about that last night at Sporting News, and I'm far from the only one. There's been really, really intense calls for U.S. soccer to make a change here from a lot of respected voices. I know Jeff Carlisle of ESPN did so, Henry Bushnell of Yahoo, a lot of the folks on Fox Soccer last night as well. So there's been big call. And this is a big change from the past, because in the past, there has often been a relatively reasonable excuse for any step back that U.S. soccer has made. And there's also been plenty of examples of parallel growth from the federation. You look at the talent on the field, it's far better than they've ever had in the past. If you just look at where these players are playing at the club level, you've got a lineup for the first time in U.S. history against Colombia in a pre-tournament friendly. The first time ever a U.S. soccer lineup has featured 11 players, all from the Big Five European leagues. So there is clear growth from a talent level with this team under Gregg Berhalter. What there's not been is clear growth from a results perspective. He has yet to beat a top 15 ranked team in the world not named Mexico. Just flat out has not done it in multiple chances, whether it be friendly, competitive action, anything. The highest ranked team he's ever beaten, won a game against, not named Mexico, was Iran at the last World Cup, ranked 20th in the world. So there's just not been that next step. They've dominated CONCACAF under Gregg Berhalter flat out. I mean, Mexico is in a nosedive, and the U.S. has generally dominated its own confederation. But the calls to take that next step abroad in the global perspective just has not happened, and he's had plenty of time to do that. This tournament was the latest and last chance to do that before the 2026 World Cup, and they fell well short of that.
Yeah, let me follow up with that, Kyle, and ask this question, because I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with the coaching cycles, basically here in the States with the NFL and the NHL, NBA, baseball as well. When something like this is a call to action, as you mentioned, Fox Sports, ESPN, a lot of the analysts, yourself over at Sporting News, when a change like this happens, is that something that happens immediately, like today? Or is that something that happens in months from now? Like, how does that usually transpire? Because it feels like if something was to happen like right away, it would be a knee-jerk reaction, regardless if it's correct or not.
Yeah, so U.S. Soccer put out a statement last night that was pretty generic and bland. They just said, we're going to conduct a review. This did not meet our expectations. We'll go from there. At the club level, these things would happen a lot quicker. You would see coaches fired the night after a disappointing defeat or the next day. That's just how quickly they happen, because you have very little time to make a turnaround. At the international level, they will happen a lot slower. We saw the last time there was a vacancy after the 2022 World Cup when Berhalter's contract was up. It took them, like 8 months to decide that they wanted Berhalter back. They don't have that kind of time this time, because the World Cup is only 2 years away. So they're going to have to move quickly with this. They're still going to take some time. There's going to be a few months between now, when they decide if they want to keep or fire Berhalter, and then when they make the hire. It's going to take a little while, but they do not have remotely the time they took the last time this happened.
All right, thanks for that breakdown. Appreciate that, Kyle. Great stuff. Okay, so now let's take a look at the odds to win Copa America. Now, Team USA was not the favorite at any point, but they're done. So Argentina is the pretty heavy favorite here at plus 115. Brazil at plus 270, and then everybody else has extended odds. Is it this simple, as the two teams at the top have the best shot, or do you think, Kyle, we may be missing something here?
Well, it's even simpler as that. It's as simple as the team at the top has the best shot by a country mile. Argentina at plus odds to win the tournament is good value. They are far and away the best team at this competition. And you won't really notice it. It's part of the reason they have plus odds is because they don't blow teams out. It's just not their nature. It's not their style. A 2-0 win for Argentina is a solid, comprehensive win. That's just the way they play. Brazil are really, really struggling right now. They continue to disappoint. Stay away from Brazil. I cannot say that enough. They are just not good enough for that value remotely. There is good value in Uruguay. They are clearly the second best team in this tournament. And at plus 500, I really, really like that. I'm just struggling to see any way that Argentina doesn't win the competition. But I think Uruguay are their best competition. And at 5-1, that's pretty darn good.
All right, we got about a minute to go, Kyle. So I'm going to ask you two questions if you could hit on both. Let's first talk about the game today, Brazil versus Colombia. I know Brazil is a home favorite there, so maybe you would take a stab here at a plus 360 on Colombia, and then also break down that one play you have in the Euro Cup as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think money line plays are tougher in soccer, obviously, because you've got the three choices instead of the two. But I love Colombia at plus 360. They are on a 25-game unbeaten streak. That dates back over 2 years. And they're on a 10-game win streak. They're just a very, very difficult team to beat, and I love them at plus 360. Moving to the Euros, unders have been king at the Euro. 12 of the last 15 group games went under 2.5 goals, and only one of the first 6 round of 16 games have gone over. And that those 5 unders includes England, Slovakia. England won 2-1, but it's in extra time, so only 90-minute results count. So unders have killed it at the Euros. Hammer those moving forward.
Gotcha. Kyle, as always, great stuff, man. Great to see you again. Thanks for coming on NewsWire.
You too, Craig. Thanks.